Hello. In this video I will demonstrate how to set up and use the pattern script plugin for JMRI. So to begin, start JMRI and select a profile that has the pattern script plugin added to it. When it opens, at the bottom of the Panel Pro screen you'll get a button called Pattern Scripts. So when you're ready to release the Fury, go ahead and click on that button and it opens the Pattern Scripts window. So I'll go through the elements one at a time. The first one is location, and it's a combo box that lists all the locations for your profile. So whichever location you want to work on, just go ahead and pick that one. The next is a checkbox called Yard Tracks Only. So if you want to just filter out the non-yard tracks, you can do that. And the next one over is Ignore Track Length. And what it allows you to do is when you're setting cars from one track to another track, it allows you to override the length of that rail and overload the track. And that's useful in some circumstances when you're going from one to another and then back to the other, and it might temporarily be overloaded, so it just allows you to bypass that. Or sometimes if you're using cars that are part of a kernel, it's helpful to be able to overload or to ignore the track length. This next row down here is a list of the tracks for that location. So for city, these are the tracks that have it. For downtown, these are the tracks that are at the location downtown. When you want to run a pattern, you just click this button right here. Well, sorry, first you select some tracks and then you go ahead and click that button right there and you get a yard pattern or a track pattern. Now at this point I'd like to strongly suggest that you choose a font that is a monospace font. In this case on Windows I'm using Courier New, but whatever font you like that is a monospace font, I really recommend you do that. It lines up all the letters, it makes your report easy to read, easy to print, and it's just helpful. If you don't have a monospace font, I included one in the release. It's public domain, so it's freely usable. So let's go through this report here, and what you get is a list of the tracks that I checked. So here's 701, 702, 703, and then for the track it lists at the bottom, it shows that there's 22 cars in 703. The track length is 1,100 feet. The car length is 968 feet, and there's 132 available feet left in that rail. It's also kind of shows you some totals for the final destination. So it's two cars with a final destination of downtown, 2 for Eastern, 13 for Northton, and 5 for Overton. And at the very bottom it has a report total. So it's a total for that report. So for the report you ran, you have 1 that has no final destination, 15 going to downtown, 15 to Easton, etc. Now you can change this report to suit your tastes, and to do that you go up to Tools, Manifest, Print Options, and I don't know why, but on my computer it takes a second or two to open that window. And since everything in this script or in this plugin is considered a move, to modify this you use this part right here, the local move message format. And however you set this up is how your pattern report or even your set cars switch list is going to print. So to demonstrate that, let's say I change type to length, don't forget to save it, then run the report again, and now where it was saying type, now it's got the car length. So you can rearrange that to suit your tastes. I'm going to go ahead and put that back to type. Another thing you can do under Tools in Options is at the bottom here, if you select this one right here, Generate CSV Switch List. If you check that, then when you run a pattern report or a set cars switch list, it will also generate a CSV switch list with the same information in it, and put it in the CSV switch list folder. So for people who are using Manifest Creator, I hope that's helpful. And let's see, moving on, now we'll go to the set cars window here. So let's say you want to move some cars around. So you select 701, 702, 703, let's just say that, hit set cars, and it fans out a bunch of windows, one for each rail. So I don't know, let's make some stuff up here. Let's say you've got, oh, here's some cars in 702 that have a final destination in Easton, and you've already got a bunch of cars that are already in Easton in 701. So why don't we do that? If you want to move those to 702, you could, in this set to box, type in 701, but it's much easier to do this. At the top, I've included a row of buttons, one for each track. So you just click the button marked 701, come down to Easton, click 701, click, 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 and click, and it automatically fills that out. And that's really helpful because most of the spurs that I name have very descriptive titles, and typing all that in is kind of a pain. So this makes it a whole lot easier. And also I've noticed over here in 703 that there's two for downtown. It looks like we already have a whole bunch of downtown cars here in 702, so it doesn't matter which button you pick. You can just go 702, 702. And when you want to look at it, you hit this, and it reports a pre-filled out switch list for each track. So in this case, it's track 702, and it shows these cars are all holds, and then these ones you want to switch into 701. And the same is true over here. You can set that, and it shows that these cars are all hold, and you got two cars going into track, 702. Yeah, exactly. And also you probably noticed this format follows the same format from the Move Cars dialog. And when you're ready to set it, you just click the button marked set. And there's nothing here, so you can set it and nothing will happen. And there they are, the cars are set. So if we want to look again, we can do a pattern, and we can see those downtown cars are now moved over into 702. The eastern cars are tossed into 701. And I'll show you one more thing here under Tools, Build Report Options. I'm using these detail levels, these three: minimal, normal, and detailed. So if you set it to minimal, and don't forget to click Save, and then press View Log, you get a pretty minimum log. It just has, in this case, the warnings and criticals. And for this plugin, warning is just that. It's just a warning, but it's not really all that serious. And if you set this to, let's say, normal, click Save, and then view the log again, you get your warnings and criticals, but it's also including the info stuff. So this is basically a readout of all the steps that you've taken since you started this plugin. These are all the things that you've done since you opened that plugin window. And if you set it to detailed, guess what? You get a really detailed list that has all the criticals, the infos, and then a whole bunch of debug stuff. So if there is a problem, it should be pretty easy to track down using this one. So thank you for watching.